Good morning.
Hello, everyone. Day 3.
It really is tea time with Rick and Laura this morning. We're going to talk about tea, one of our rituals that we do each and every morning. We even bring it with us when we travel, and it's a wonderful way to start out our day. It's a little ritual. It gives us a time to do something wonderful for our body, as well as warm liquids to start the day. It's great to just hydrate. And then we love the flavor, and it has a nice role in my heritage as well.
The Chinese say nothing grows in snow, so as Laura said, it warms up the inside, it gets things started for the day, and we just love the taste. That's the main thing for us, is we're big savory taste people. So Laura I call her the tea genius, because she has lectured on the benefits of tea, mostly green tea and black tea and white tea, but there's so many other teas as well, and I'm going to defer to the expert.
Yeah, so as you might also know, we're both Chinese herbalists, and what part of that training is actually we're making what we call teas or soups out of these herbs that have medicinal properties as well. But we're going to go into our basic yummy teas that we actually enjoy every morning, because they have wonderful health properties as well. And as Rick has mentioned, I have had some wonderful times teaching tea classes, and they're tea tastings at Balance, and we get to learn about the different types and the history of tea and all the healing properties. So our favorites in the morning, Rick always goes for the
Lung Ching
green tea, organic green tea.
Dragon Well, it's called.
Yeah, and it's actually sourced from the town where my mother was born, in China.
That's awesome, yeah.
Westlake or Hangzhou, and it's beautiful tea. I'm just going to show you guys. I'm going to tip this camera and hope that I don't tip anything over. That's crucial. That's what it looks like. So you can see there's actually whole leaves there, and they're flattened. It's quite a beautiful process. And all tea, black tea, green tea, white tea, comes from the same plant, Camellia sinensis. So it's just how it's processed or fermented that changes it. My tea that I drink in the morning is called oolong. And you'll notice it's actually also whole leaves, but it's a little bit, pick a little bit of that up.
Oh, sorry.
It's a little bit darker because it's more fermented. So it's a little bit richer flavor. And you'll see what they call the tea liquor is a little bit different. So this is what mine looks like. I don't know if Rick has his tea. Oh, you can't see Rick's because it's in a dark glass. I love drinking my tea in a white glass or white mug, just because it shows you the true color of the tea liquor.
And this is the green tea. You can see the Dragon Well is actually has a green appearance to it.
Yeah. So
like
anyway,
green.
You'll notice different flavors to them. The oolong is darker. It does have a little bit deeper or maybe even smokier type of flavor.
Definitely.
Earthy. And the green tea is delicious. I would say that a lot of people, if they complain about the flavor of the green tea, they're upset because it might taste bitter. And usually that means you've steeped it too long. Okay, so if you steep it longer than it should be, you're going to get that bitter flavor. Just back off on the steeping time. And I'm going to go over some of the health benefits of the tea, and then Rick's going to show you how to steep it. It's pretty simple. I am not as traditional about steeping my tea. I really go by the color of it.
So I'm a rule follower.
Yeah, I'll kind of put my little tea strainer in and mess around, and I'm like, oh, that's the right brown. I'm going to drink it now. Whereas Rick has his ritual of the proper measured amount, the right amount of tea time, that type of thing.
Right.
And I see Colleen Brown is on here, and I just want to say hi to Colleen and Cam. And I think I ruined Cam's day last year when I was staying with them, and they were doing their green tea in the morning, and I mentioned that when you add milk to tea, it actually nullifies the healing properties of it. So, that tea time, the proper tea time in England when they're adding the cream, don't do it if you're looking for the healing properties. Leave the dairy out. All right. So healing properties, this is my little card here that I used to hand out in my classes. So I'm going to look at this so I can remember to tell you every single little fact. All right. So green tea and regular tea is rich in antioxidants. Typically, the more fermented the tea is, the antioxidant properties start to decrease some, but they're all very good for you. All right, so antioxidants are the good little buggers, the good little guys that help out with fighting with cancer, things like heart disease, like inflammation, and they're very important in our diet as well as, isn't it great that you can actually drink something that you're going to get those wonderful antioxidants in as well. And the main antioxidants you will hear about in green tea are called polyphenols. So they protect the body cells from damage and fight disease. They decrease the risk of stroke and heart disease.
Wow.
Green tea also is known to help out with lowering blood cholesterol, helping out with tooth decay, helping out with preventing osteoporosis. So who doesn't want to have nice pearly whites and strong bones? And it's good for weight loss. These are all, everything I'm telling you right now is backed up by research as well. So I just want you to know that it's not just something that someone said on the internet, Dr. Google. It's actually backed by research. And it's great for strengthening the immune system. And that is something we are focused on.
Number one, we are definitely focused on that right now.
Our pause. All right, so let's show them how to brew a good cup of tea. And we're gonna show you Rick's method, not my little, oh, that's a nice color, let's drink it method. All right, so I'm gonna tip this down a little bit. The expert camera woman.
Yes, so now I wanna say one thing that I learned in her tea class one day. We get asked a lot about why cups, what kind of cup to use. In the West, they use, traditionally like England, places like that, which were big tea drinkers, they have cups with handles on them. Chinese, brilliant as they are, don't traditionally have handles on them. The reason they don't is when you brew, you're putting hot water in a cup over your leaves, it of course heats the cup as well. So if the Chinese figured out, as their genius they are, that once you can actually hold the cup without burning your hand or really too hot to handle, so to speak, it's now safe in time to drink the tea. I didn't know that until she said it in a lecture. It was brilliant. So this is a tea strainer. There are a variety of different, we're not saying one's better than the other. This is the one we use. So it's a stainless steel. It fits on top of the cup. Make sure that your cup rim is not larger than your tea strainer. And then we take usually a tablespoon. So we have these cool little tea containers too. So this has a little lid that keeps it nice and fresh. And so I take a tablespoon, back to what Laura had said. I'm a rule follower, and I fill it up. So it's a little overflowing on the actual tablespoon measure. I put that in. And then when you boil water for tea, after it finishes boiling, wait for at least a minute. That's what they recommend. I do that because that's what I do. You don't have to, but they say to get the best quality out. Traditionally, you pour the leaves over to the top of the cup, over through of course, this mesh screen where it keeps the leaves from falling into the cup. Go to the top so the leaves get obviously moist with the hot water. I wait 3 minutes. Laura looks at color. She's visual. She said that's enough. She pulls it out. I put the timer on for 3 minutes and put it on. You shouldn't really go more than 5 because Laura said earlier, it does create bitterness. And who wants bitter tea? So, some people I like bitter in certain things, but not my tea. So then once it's set that long, you pull that out and you have your tea. You put we have a little stand, a little, bowl to put our tea strainer in because you can have up to 2 or 3 cups with that strainer or with those leaves you just used.
Yeah, you can reuse them. And if you're very sensitive to caffeine, you can steep it. The first steeping has the most caffeine in it. You can steep it, give it to someone that wants that caffeine, or you can dump it out and just use the tea leaves again and you'll have less caffeine. Really almost no caffeine after that, so that's really good. And speaking of caffeine, common question, how much caffeine does tea have compared to coffee? It can depend on the type of tea, it depends on the steeping time, but generally green tea has about 1/5 of the amount of coffee, so you could have like 5 cups of green tea to your 1 cup of coffee. And black tea usually has about half-ish, so definitely significantly less caffeine. So if you are trying to cut down on caffeine, tea is a great way to go. In fact, when I have people go off coffee, when people decide to stop coffee, I will have them use green tea as a step down. So that's exciting. And then I love the strainer because it allows the teas to really unfurl and express themselves. They call it the agony of the leaves when you pour the water over and they just start to open up. And we're talking about loose tea, and loose tea is a much higher quality than tea bags because, as you saw, they're whole leaves. And tea bags, for the true tea snobs, they will say that tea bags actually are the sweepings from the floor. Because when you look at what's in a tea bag, the tea itself, I'm opening one up right now and I'll put it in a little bowl so we can show you. The tea itself is very crushed up. And one of the health properties, or the main health properties in tea, have to do with the oils in it. And if you have crushed tea that's powdery, the sweepings, who wants to drink the sweepings? Then see how that looks compared to our beautiful leaves? This is a tea bag. It's like dust. So anyway, you lose the oils and some of the properties, but still a healthy thing to do for yourself to drink bag tea.
Right.
We actually drink bag tea too when we're traveling. So
Right.
we have to make sacrifices sometimes.
True. Yeah.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed that. And
Can I add one thing to people that don't want to try these type of teas, black, green, white tea? There are tons of great herbal teas. If you're drinking tea
we're
without,
going to do a whole thing on herbal teas.
see, I told you I'm the tea genius. The tea
We
genius
can't.
is right here.
We have to do a whole fake 5 minutes. It's really 10 minutes usually.
Yeah.
On
We never stick to
herbal
5.
teas because there's such wonderful healing properties to herbal teas. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Drink your tea.
Always a pleasure starting our day with all of you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.